welcome back to a new video. As I promised, today is the ultimate paella cooking session. We're gonna cook paella today and I'm gonna prepare everything step by step. When you watch these videos, you can easily try it at home. First of all, why paella? I was living in Barcelona. There, paella is a really big thing. They have really great paellas out there, so many variations. For example, black paella with like octopus tint and many else. Today we do the classic paella. Before we start, I just want to show you the room here, the kitchen where I cook, and it's absolutely amazing. It's stunning here. We cook directly at the lake. It's the lake view here. Let's talk about the ingredients. So what do we got here? Of course, the most important part about the paella is seafood. We have some shrimps, we have calamari rings, we have mussel meat without the shells. That's totally fine. We can also use them. They also look good. Then, important part, rice. I have not the paella rice here. I got the risotto rice. It's also totally fine. Just make sure that it's a bigger rice corn, that the volume goes up with the water. So you can also use this rice. Then, very important, without the red wine, it's hard to get to the taste of a paella. So definitely buy a good bottle of wine. Not too expensive. This is just like a $10 bottle. So this is gonna be good for the paella. We have the beef broth, also important for the, this is not a powder one, it's actually my favorite beef broth. What else? Olive oil, we can use olive oil. To the vegetables. Tomatoes, we cut the tomatoes and slice them later. We have some shallots. These are actually my favorite onions because they have like a very rich onion taste. And actually even like the best cooks in the world say the shallot is the best onion for dishes. Then we have some garlic. I also have garlic powder here. Then salt and pepper for sure. Then we have some paprika. Make sure that it's sweet paprika because like the other one is like very strong and tastes like barbecue. So we want sweet paprika. We have some green onions. Actually I don't have peas, so I'll use edamame. It's also totally fine. And yeah, last but not least, we have a bit of butter. I always start with the shallots and with the garlic. Technique I learned by myself. I can't really like slice the onions when my fingers are completely closed. Go in a rhythm a little bit. Slice the shallots really good. Just make sure that there are enough onions in there, but also not too much. We're gonna use the whole pan here. So 2 shallots, the bigger ones are totally fine. A very important fact about shallots and onions, don't put the temperature too high because we don't want to burn the onions. They want to caramelize. That means put them on low heat, a bit longer in the pan, but they're gonna be sweeter at the end, and that's the taste we want to achieve. So start with some olive oil, put like a little bit in there, that the pan can be covered. Actually there's no rule. Sometimes I also like put the onions in. While our oil is getting ready, like getting hot, I have a big pot here. This is for our rice. Now I don't really measure the rice. It's like kind of a feeling thing, I would say. Okay, so this is the rice. This is nice. We put a little bit of rice in, that's the pan. Or like the pot is good covered with rice. Then we have enough rice at the end to put in the pan. Better like to do a little bit more. Now it's a funny fact because we can't really use the water here directly at the lake, so we always have to buy the gallons of water. It's always fresh, you know. We're gonna put it also like on the heat. Okay, our oil is really good. Has a good temperature. Now we can add the shallots. And now, as I said, put them on low heat. And let them a little bit in the pan while we're cutting the garlic. I also always use a lid, so like the water stays in there and it's not gonna burn. The garlic. This is is actually not the best garlic I can see. Sometimes we can see what we buy, so we put a lot of garlic in there actually. But like at the end, you don't really taste the garlic because it's kind of melting in, and we want to cook it a long time, so that's gonna be good. If you have these little sprouts here, or how we call them, like I always take them out actually, so like the garlic tastes nicer. So at the end, I do everything really classic, so I always cut things. And you can dice them completely, and then you have like small cubes. And now we can add the garlic into our pan with the shallots. Alright, that looks good. Our rice is also cooking already. We're gonna slice the tomatoes. And slice the tomatoes also like in.
Dime tú si nos vamos, baby, por allá, solo tú y yo, y nos enredamos. Yo no sé qué andaba buscando, solo sé que desde que te encontré, nada estaba pensando ahora.
Our onion and garlic are like slowly in the pan, and now we're adding the tomatoes. So it's also like important for the tomatoes that they cook for a long time with the garlic and the onions. Always like make sure that you have not too much, because we're also adding a lot of other things. So that looks really good. Now we just put the lid on and let it cook for a little bit. Our rice is also like really looking good. You can see it's getting real big. This is actually the rice we want. So like a thicker, soft rice. In the meanwhile, we can prepare the calamari. I also took them out already. They can defreeze a little bit. Then, of course, we have the shrimps. These are actually shrimps. They're still in the shell. You can see they're really big. I always prefer these shrimps because they keep all the water in there, and also like the aroma of the shrimp stays in the shrimp. Like put them like this in a pan and just like cook them. That's totally fine. And after, you can remove the shell. We make sure that we have a good quantity of shrimps. We also add some calamari rings, like this. And last but not least, we have the mussel meat. Also add like a good amount of mussels in there. We have enough to make another paella, that's really good. These go back to the freezer. Alright, let's check back for our tomatoes and onions and garlic. They're looking good already, they're cooking slowly, that's what we want. And now we add the seafood that the aroma can be built up. Go, that's looking good. So they can cook a little bit. And that's the important part. You do one pan with all the seafood and the veggies, and you have one pot with the rice. So you have like a separated section and you don't mix anything together, and you can do both at one time. All right, the next thing, we're gonna prepare some parsley. When the parsley is already like early in the pan, you can also like give the aroma of the parsley. That's very important. A lot of people put it at the end, and slice the parsley like very small and thin, because then you can also like smell the parsley, and that's important.
Dime tú si nos vamos, baby, por allá, solo tú y yo, y nos enredamos. Yo no sé qué andaba buscando, solo sé que desde que te...
So we put the parsley in here. Already looking really good. And of course, we also have some green onions. Okay, slice some green onions in there. And put them also in the pan. Okay, now you can turn up the heat a little bit so everything can start cooking. I'll show you the step with the wine and the beef broth. Let's check back on our pan. How's it going? And it's going really good, I would say. You can now add some peas as well, or like edamame on my part. Yes, perfect. Make sure that you also like stir it a little bit, so and you can see also like the shrimps lose water now, but don't worry when it's getting watery. That's actually really good because it's a seafood dish, don't forget that, and we want a lot of seafood water in there, and we don't have to get rid of the water. That's all part of the paella. Let everything cook a little bit, and then at the end we're gonna spice it. You can add some spices. We have some pepper and salt and garlic powder. And of course some paprika. So we stir everything a little bit again, and now you can see the tomatoes also get soft. Okay, while the pan is slowly cooking, don't forget the lid. We're gonna check the rice. Now it's getting a bit dark here. Now you can see it, the rice is perfect. It's now really soft, and the next step is preparing the perfect paella rice. Right, all we need is some red wine, and pour a good amount of red wine in the rice. It's the most satisfying thing, and also like the rice gets the color. And here the beef broth. This is really like a thing how strong you like food in general. So I really like a lot of salt and things, and this is a really good rich flavor. And so we're gonna start with 1 teaspoon. Now we just stir it around until everything mixes together a little bit, and the beef broth is also like automatically melting with the rice and with the wine together, and it's gonna be perfect, I swear to God. And it's like combined with seafood, it's a dream, and the red wine smells really good. So now we're gonna test it. It is perfect. Yeah, this is everything for the rice. So we can check actually our pan. Our food is almost done. It's smelling good. It's smelling really good. So look at this. And this is how it should look like. Very liquidy. You can see the seafood is already like melted in and nothing is burnt. We have the beautiful rice. You can see it's perfectly, it has like a light brown color. And now we just put the rice in the pan. And from that, you can actually check by yourself how much rice do you need for your pan. It always has to be a good amount, I would say, that nothing is too much or too less. So with this amount, you should be really good. Now we can mix and stir everything. And it's smelling insane. It's smelling so good. It's not too dry, and this is how a paella should be. You can just like make everything a little bit pretty. And this is like a little tip. I always push everything a little bit down. For the garnish, we can just use our parsley. Last but not least, the lemon. There's also like a lot of lemon juice in there. I kind of do it at the end. So we slice the lemons like this. Then I actually quarter them. You can also do it just halves, but like I like quarters. Make sure that you get rid of the seeds. This we can use for the paella. Okay, now big time for the lemon. Squeeze something over. Beautiful. It's smelling so good. And we can garnish everything with lemons. This is our end result. Isn't it looking nice? This is a real classic paella. Use the wine and have a good dinner. This was a quick paella recipe. I hope you liked that video. You can see paella is not that difficult. You would help me a lot if you could subscribe to that channel, give this video a like, then more people can see how paella is done. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.